Now the snakes are on the alert. This is the best feeding opportunity they will get all year. On flat ground, a baby iguana can outrun a racer snake. But others are waiting in ambush. Another hatchling has its first glimpse of a dangerous world. A snake's eyes aren't very good, but they can detect movement. So if the hatchling keeps its nerve, it may just avoid detection. A near miraculous escape. The lucky survivors could begin learning the unique way of life demanded by this hostile island. Wolves. These in northern Canada are the largest and most powerful in the world, and they're setting out to hunt. The pack is 25 strong, a sign that the prey they're seeking is formidable. These bison are even bigger than their southern cousins and the largest land animals in North America. For generations, wolves and bison here have been shaped by their battles with each other, making each the most impressive of its kind. The bison will not stay long among the trees. They're not safe here. The wolves are closing in, but their chance of ambushing the bison in the woods has passed. Their prey are now in the open and grouped together for safety. The wolves will need to work as a team if they're to make a kill. They circle the herd, trying to unsettle it and split it up. But the bison are armed and dangerous. They will be safe as long as they stick together. The wolves up their game, harrying the herd, a ploy to trigger a stampede and split away one of the smaller ones. The bison form a defensive circle around their young, horns pointing outwards. The wolves need a bison to break rank. But the tables are turning, and now the wolves have to retreat. The pack focus their attention on the rear of the herd, and the bison begin to panic. A young bison falls behind. Even this yearling dwarfs the wolves. Running head down, the herd's only thought is escape. A stroke of luck for the wolves. The kill will feed the pack for several days, but then they will have to resume the chase. Their cover blown, escape seems impossible. But these particular fish have a unique ability. They're flying fish. With an extra thrust from their tails, the flying fish get airborne once more. With a good wind, they can glide for hundreds of meters. This is just what the frigate birds have been waiting for. When frigates join the hunt, the flying fish are literally caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. If the flying fish get too much lift, they become easy prey for the frigates. If they dive to evade attack from above, they could fall into the mouths of the Dorado. Mantids will eat anything that moves, including other mantids. Time to leave. This tiny insect is now open to attack from predators lurking in the undergrowth. Whether an individual mantis survives or not is partly a matter of chance. Whether it's spotted by a predator, whether it turns right or left. So far, its luck has held. But this hungry jumping spider is still in pursuit. A mantis is born with exceptional eyesight, but the spider's is even better. Although this young mantis can't yet fly, its long forelegs, evolved to catch prey, give it reach. There seems to be no escape. But this mantis has a surprising line in self-defense. Kung Fu, praying mantis style. Of course, it's all bluff, trying to look bigger and confuse its enemy. But it's got away with it. Just staying alive for its first few hours is a significant accomplishment for a newly hatched insect. But there's still a long way to go. With a bit of luck, in 2 months' time, it will be as big and beautiful as this orchid mantid. Or maybe not. After all, mantids are cannibals. However, there are plenty more where that one came from. At this time of year, polar bears on average succeed only once in 20 hunts. If the hunter is skinny, like this one, that may not be often enough. All she can do is keep trying. To prevent her scent betraying her, she makes a wide sweep to get downwind of the seal. Getting close. She's now right behind the seal. Incredibly, she caught the seal underwater. It's only small, but even so, its blubber alone will contain 100,000 calories, enough to sustain this bear for a week. And in that time, she might even catch another. But this can't go on forever. As summer continues, temperatures are rising. Each hunt requires more energy, draining the bears of their reserves. Kenya, famous for its big cats, the supreme hunters. Cheetahs specialize in hunting at speed. Though fast, they're fragile creatures built to sprint after small prey. They don't have the strength or weight of a lion to bring down larger animals. This male is different. He doesn't hunt alone. He's learnt that there is strength in numbers. But here, there are not just 2, but 3 cheetahs. A band of brothers. They have changed their tactics, and by doing so, have taken their prey by surprise. They have learned that, working together, they can bring down large prey. An ostrich, a bird that towers over a cheetah and is more than twice as heavy. It can't fly to escape danger, but it can lash out with a deadly kick. female, unaware as yet of any danger. Even with 3 of them, this is still highly risky. If one gets injured, the other 2 couldn't hope to tackle such large prey. On the other hand, if they get it right, the rewards are huge. The male has spotted one of the brothers, but only one. It's not too worried. Then suddenly there are 3. The female is slower to realize the danger, and the cheetahs switch targets. It takes the combined effort and weight of all 3 brothers to bring down this powerful bird. Even now, the ostrich could land a fatal kick. So far, the brothers are winning. Ostriches have yet to find a way to foil such tactics. Food is so hard to find this far north that a wolf pack must search hundreds of square kilometers if it's to be successful. And success means raising the next generation. To do that here, the wolves must work together. So the young are raised not only by their parents, but by their aunts and uncles as well. Together, they try to ensure that each pup reaches near adult size before the snow returns. A growing pup needs more than just a few leverets. The wolves need bigger prey, and to catch that, they must hunt as a pack. Adult hares may be easy to spot, but they're far from easy to catch. They run at 60 kilometers an hour. To catch one, the wolves work as a team. One of them gets close enough to bite the hare's tail. But a hare can change direction in an instant. If it can continue to sidestep and jink, it may ultimately outlast them. Finally, it gets away. For the next hare, the whole pack gives chase. Now numbers count. The lead wolves keep up the pace. Others run on either side, so the hare can't change direction. A tiny meal for the whole pack. Even when more sea lions arrive, they can't seem to break down the sardines' coordinated defenses. With a shoal this big, the sea lions need to isolate a smaller, more manageable group of fish. But with so few predators, the fish still have the advantage. All the sea lions can do is keep the sardines at the surface and wait for others to join them. Tuna. Their arrival changes everything. Tuna attack from below, cutting off the sardines' escape route down to deeper water. Next to appear shearwaters. Excellent flyers, but also surprisingly agile underwater. With so many predators attacking from all sides, the advantage starts to shift away from the sardines. As the fish pack ever tighter, their shoaling strategy now makes it easier for the hunters. Sharks. They've scented blood in the water. Surprisingly, perhaps, the predators never attack one another. They work together to corral the ball of fish, taking turns to grab a mouthful. Common dolphins. As the shoal gets ever smaller, each sardine scrambles desperately to hide in the middle. But now there's no escape. Brooder's whale finishes off the feast. Tons of sardines devoured in less than an hour. During the dry season, Over 500,000 terns crowd onto this remote atoll in the Indian Ocean. Their chicks are still in their dark juvenile plumage. They vary in age. Whilst the more advanced chicks take to the air, others aren't quite ready yet. Those just starting to learn to fly use the shallow lagoon that occupies the center of the atoll as their training ground. It's difficult for some of them to stay aloft for long. Usually, they are solitary hunters, but about 50 of them have come here from neighboring reefs, attracted by this abundance of potential prey. The fledglings stay out of the water if they can. They even drink on the wing. If the trevally are to catch one now, they have to up their game. So there is a fish here that, amazingly, has a brain capable of calculating the airspeed, altitude, and trajectory of a bird. The time comes when every fledgling has to take to the air and collect food for itself. Their parents lead them to the training grounds. they are to survive, they must learn quickly. After a month of practicing over the lagoon, the youngsters start to leave and take their chances out over the open sea. But leopards are the most versatile of all the big cats, adept at finding cover in the most unpromising places. The steep walls of the gully are now her cover for an ambush. The male puku is close enough, but he's too big to tackle. She needs to slip past him without being seen. If he spots her, he'll blow her cover. Slowly does it. To succeed here, she needs to find prey grazing close to the edge, or better still, in the gully itself. Frustration. Success would have staved off hunger for a week. But while there's prey around, there's hope. Peeking over the top is a risk, but it's the quickest way to find a new target. A burst of speed of 65 kilometers an hour, and it's all over in less than 6 seconds. Except it isn't. Dazed and disorientated, the impala makes a miraculous escape. The Namib Desert, one of the most exposed places on Earth. As the sun climbs high, everybody takes cover from the extreme heat. Everybody except the hot rod ant. As others take refuge, their day is just beginning. Cleaning out the nest. The sand can reach a scorching 70 centigrade. The ants' long legs raise their bodies above the surface, where it's 10 degrees cooler. But if they stand still, they will fry. They must keep moving or risk the same fate as their quarry, the creatures that have collapsed from heat stroke. Too deeply buried, but a good place to cool off. Foraging decisions must be fast. Too big? Perfect. Back to the nest before they also die. But they've strayed into a minefield. Each of these strange, cone-shaped pits is a death trap. With a brutal predator at its center. Here lie antlion larvae, tiny ambush predators with venom-filled pincers. Some ants manage to escape, but the antlion has other tricks. Flinging sand into the air, it creates an avalanche. In this cone of death, the walls are so angled that the sand slips beneath the ants' feet. As boulders rain from the sky, escape seems almost impossible. Phew.
Not much remains of the porpoise after the whales are through with it. Killer whales don't just target prey smaller than themselves. Off the coast of California, a grey whale and her baby are in serious danger. Once again, computer images give the underwater view of an extraordinary hunt. The grey whale calf is just a few weeks old. It's following its mother north towards the summer feeding grounds in Alaska. They've reached Monterey Bay, where a deep trench cuts in from the sea. As they move beyond the trench wall, the grey whales lose their cover. Out in the bay, the killer whales are listening for that telltale sound, the breathing of a great whale. Immediately, their behavior changes. The killers close ranks like a hunting wolf pack. The killer whales have caught up with the mother and calf. And now the chase is on. The grey whales try to outswim their attackers. Fast swimming pushes up the grey whale's breathing rate, a breathless calf is easier to catch. The killers work as a team. Their first goal is to separate the baby from its mother. The grey whale mother is a formidable adversary. She could seriously harm a killer whale with just one slap of her massive tail fluke. One of the attackers pushes between mother and calf. The strategy is working. The grey whales are forced apart. With the baby separated, the killer whales change strategy. Now their goal is to drown the calf.
For sea lions to venture into deep water here is very dangerous indeed. It's much safer to stay in the shallows if they can. In one or two places, channels enable the whales to get really close to the beach. Those are the danger spots. To get off the beach, the killer has to thrash its body. No other whale deliberately beaches itself in this way, or has perfected this method of getting back to the sea. As long as the sea lions stay well up the beach, you might think they would be safe. But the hungry whales are very daring. Now, several of the whales are hunting in a group. That sea lion was keeping just ahead of one of the whales, but was caught by another it probably hadn't seen. This savage beating may be to separate hide from flesh.
The army ant. This may look like a ball of 1,000,000 individuals, but make no mistake, the colony acts as one. A superorganism with a sensory system of 2 million antennae. A skeleton made from the living bodies of workers. A defense system of soldier ants, ready to act at any sign of danger. A digestive system processing piles of food deep inside. Even a coordinated system for dealing with all the waste. These are insects that, by working together, transcend individual size. The colony can search the entire jungle and flush out its wildlife. Each day, it sends out a silent probe into the forest in quest of food. It doesn't use scouts like other ants. Instead, a vast search party pushes into virgin territory. Seeking out the signs of anything alive. They spread out along a 10-meter front, sweeping across the forest floor. To find prey, the ants must first touch it. The irony is that this, the most successful hide-and-seek player in the forest, is almost completely blind. It distinguishes the living only by their movement. As long as an animal remains still, it is safe. But the slightest twitch will give it away. Within seconds, the prey is pinned down. Within minutes, it's torn apart at its joints. The more the prey struggles, the more the ants engage. Right across the raid front, prey of all sizes are driven from their hiding places. Even wasps must abandon their homes when the ants arrive. Everything alive in the path of the raiders, overwhelmed by sheer numbers. It's called Darwin's bark spider, and the female has a remarkable strategy. Like a real-life spider woman, she sprays strands of silk in one long, continuous flow. The threads fan out like a sail and drift on air currents blowing across the water. Every few seconds, she crimps the strands together to stop them spreading too widely. The breeze will do the rest, blowing the threads into a single line and a 25-meter bridge. Now she must reinforce her bridge because her web will hang from it.
but there's something bouncing the line at the other end. Another Darwin spider is trying to take advantage of her hard work. She must deal with the intruder head-on. The cut line is an inconvenience, but no more than that. With hooks on the tips of each leg, she gathers in the thread. It won't go to waste, as she'll eat it later. When it's all reeled in, she sprays again. Out streams another 25-metre bridging line. How a spider no bigger than a thumbnail can produce so much silk so quickly has baffled scientists. And it's no ordinary silk. It's the toughest natural fibre on the planet, tougher than steel. And it needs to be tough to span the wide river. With the bridge taut and the ground anchor in place, it's time to construct her trap. These spiders can build the world's largest orb webs, up to 2 meters wide. A few hours from the first spray of bridging line, the job is done. Now her strategy is simple. Sit and wait. And there's one final bout of silk production. Shrink wrapping her food for later. A Sally Lightfoot crab. One of thousands of shore crabs just waiting for their moment. Every day they gather on the tropical shores of Brazil, waiting for the tide to go out. Which exposes their feeding grounds. Seaweed-covered rocks 100 meters from the shore. Getting there is a race against the tide. They leap from rock to rock. These crabs seem to be afraid of the water. And for good reason. The moray eel. The chain moray is a specialist crab hunter. Its blunt teeth can easily grip and crush a crab's shell. It's the crab's deadliest enemy, But the crab's feeding grounds are still a long way off. They must press on. Halfway. But their enemy has other ideas. Crossing the land. To reset the ambush. To feed, the crabs must keep going. But nowhere is safe. An octopus, also a crab killer. The crabs make a dash for it. Made it. Risking life and limb to graze on these seaweed pastures. But in 2 hours' time, when the tide starts to turn, they will have to run the gauntlet all over again. It's July in the deserts of Nevada in the western United States. The hottest time of the year. Bands of wild horses, Mustang, are converging on one of the last remaining waterholes around. Now, water not only offers them the chance to drink, it can also bring power. If a stallion can control access to water, he will have secured mating rights to the entire herd. So stallions try to dominate these pools, fighting off rivals who venture too close. A stranger. He's traveled 15 kilometers to be here because the pools where he's come from have already dried up. With him come his females. If he can't provide them with water, they will leave him for the white stallion, who already dominates this pool. So he will have to fight. is everything to lose. A broken leg or a shattered jaw would mean a slow and painful death. A missed kick, and it's all over. The new arrival has won. And his prize is more than just a chance to drink. He has provided for his herd and in the process stolen his rival's females. The white stallion's rule is over. These males are the troop leaders. They hold all the power here. Joining them is every young male's ambition. To be accepted into this elite is the path to privilege. But it's a dangerous journey. The youngster decides to follow. At first, he has enough sense to keep his distance. These males are twice his size. The low-ranking chimps retreat before the troop leaders arrive at the waterhole. Dominant males have a highly stressful life as they constantly squabble to protect their position. The youngster can't take his eyes off them. This is his chance to get himself noticed. If he can impress even one of the big males with a show of strength, he might just be accepted into their ranks. His best attempt at a macho display has certainly caught their attention. But they are not impressed. In fact, this drumming means they're getting rather angry. And they attack. The youngster is not quick enough. He gets a short, sharp lesson about how hard it can be to break into this close-knit gang. He's lucky to escape with just an injured hand. For the moment, he's neither big enough nor strong enough to be taken seriously by the troop leaders. Without status, he will never enjoy the privileges of the best food or the attention of females. Losing its fear of humans has enabled one animal to spread into cities everywhere and in huge numbers. Pigeons are by far the most successful urban bird. Here in Albi in the south of France, the pigeons come to the river to bathe. They need to preen their flight feathers, clean off the city dust, and cool themselves down. But death lies in wait. A predator that has taken advantage of the very thing that has led to the pigeon's success. Their lack of fear. As the pigeons bathe, oil from their plumage flows downstream and is detected. Monstrous Wells catfish. Introduced here just 40 years ago, they have proliferated, virtually exterminated the local fish stocks, and they've now developed a taste for pigeon. Their eyesight is poor, so they use their barbels to sense the movements of their victims. This is a radical new hunting strategy for what is normally a bottom-dwelling fish. After 1,000 years of living in this city, pigeons are now having to learn to avoid a fish. A lone Grevy's zebra. He weighs close to half a ton and could go for 3 days without drinking. Like the macaques, his forebears were refugees from the advancing Sahara. The land is scrubby and dry. But this stallion has claimed it as his own. He's been waiting months for visitors. Female visitors. If they like his territory, they might stay a while. It's his first chance to mate for a very long time. Hardly a success. Perhaps his visitors are looking for a more impressive partner. There's another setback. The females were being followed, a posse of young males, everyone a rival. It's time to separate the men from the boys. One by one, the stallion sees them off. The females had ringside seats, and his prowess has not gone unnoted. Machismo gives way to tenderness. Around here, you have to take every opportunity, be it for food, for water, or for mates. Female grevies are a fickle bunch. The herd have decided to move on. All of them. The stallion may never see them again, but there's a chance that one is now carrying his foal. In a far corner of Southeast Asia lies the Coral Triangle, a cluster of the richest coral reefs in the world. Undersea cities crammed full of life. As in any crowded metropolis, there is fierce rivalry for space, for food, and for a partner. But the reef is also a place full of opportunity. A cuttlefish. It specializes in hunting crabs. But a large crab is a dangerous quarry. It has powerful claws. The cuttlefish, however, has a remarkable talent. Its skin contains millions of pigment cells with which it can create ever-changing colors and patterns. And that, apparently, hypnotizes the crab. Cuttlefish may be clever, but a shark is bigger. And it eats cuttlefish. Time to disappear. Back to the hunt. A new target, but the same mesmerizing technique. For those that manage to establish themselves in these bustling undersea cities, there can be great rewards. This is a poison dart frog. Males raise their young in a very special way. A father will place each one of his tadpoles in its own tiny pool of water. This is one. Nice and safe. He might have up to 5 other tadpoles. But he needs to remember where he put each one of them. This one isn't doing so well. Its tiny puddle has all but dried out. The tadpole will die unless its father can find a better place for it. If dads are good for one thing, it's piggyback rides. Fathers are no bigger than a human thumbnail, but this enables them to get to places that others can't. This could be perfect. The only problem is that there's no food here. Fathers need help. Somewhere in this forest is Mum. A female could do something a male cannot. But first, Dad must lead his partner to their hungry tadpole. And Mother deals with the problem. She lays a single, unfertilized egg. And her tadpole gets a much-needed meal. For the next 6 weeks, parents continue their rounds, an extraordinary test of teamwork and memory.
Sailfish, 3 meters long, are closing in on prey. They will only use just enough energy to make their kill, never wasting a fin stroke. Nearly 100 sailfish have surrounded a single school of baitfish. It's very rare to see so many of these hunters in one place. To herd their prey, the predators raise their huge dorsal fins.
A mistimed strike by one sailfish could fatally damage another, but each continually changes its colour from blue to striped to black. That warns its companions of its intentions and also confuses the prey. As the shoal is driven nearer the surface, it comes within the range of the seabirds. Out here in the open ocean, there is nowhere for the baitfish to hide. Sailfish live a high-octane life. To survive, they must find prey daily. So their entire existence will be spent on the move. And many animals here choose the simplest option of all. Staying hidden all day and only venturing out in the cool of the night. As darkness falls, animals appear from seemingly nowhere. And among them, inevitably, are hunters. One of the most voracious nocturnal predators is also one of the hardest to see. This mysterious creature hardly ever appears on the surface of the dunes. But there are signs on the sand that can give it away. It lives only here, where the sand grains are so perfectly dry and polished that they flow almost like water. It's no bigger than a ping-pong ball. A golden mole. It's totally blind, but there's nothing to see underground anyway. Instead, it has superb hearing. Its entire head acts as an amplifier that picks up vibrations through the sand. So, to locate prey on the surface of the dune, it has, paradoxically, to thrust its face into the dune. Termites. Not easy to catch when you're blind. Far better to go into stealth mode. Once below the sand, it can detect the slightest movement, allowing it to strike with pinpoint accuracy. Well, most of the time. It can travel 1 kilometre a night in search of its dinner. And right now, it has just detected its main course. Little wonder it's sometimes called the shark of the dunes. Lizards, for the most part, are not known for being caring parents, but there are exceptions. It's spring in the woodlands of North America. An American robin is nesting, warming her eggs with the heat generated by her own body. And below, on the forest floor, a 5-lined skink is warming her cold-blooded body by basking in the sunshine, so that she can do the same thing. She has a nest below the log. It can get quite chilly in these woodlands, and she warms her eggs by transferring to them the heat that she's collected from the sun. She takes just as much care of her eggs as the robin does. A month later, and her eggs are hatching. The robin's eggs have hatched too. Her nestlings are helpless and need constant feeding. The young skinks, however, are already capable of finding food for themselves. Within a day or so, they've left their mother and are independently exploring the woodland floor for themselves. Back in the Australian rainforest, this weaver ant fortress sits at the heart of a rich territory. Hunting parties go out to gather food to fuel their growing numbers. Some canopy caterpillars are not killed, but farmed by the ants. They exude a sugary secretion that the ants collect. In return, the ants mount a guard to protect the caterpillar wherever it goes. But a successful colony inevitably attracts enemies. This jumping spider's body shape resembles that of an ant. A disguise good enough to fool these nursery guards. It's after one of the colony's most valuable assets, the grubs. In a colony numbering tens of thousands, a single grub is an insignificant loss. But the rich territory of a successful colony draws more destructive enemies. Raiders from a neighbouring weaver ant colony looking to expand their own empire. Invaders are quickly spotted. The guard releases pheromones to alert the rest of the colony. They stream out of the nest to defend their home. If the home defences fail, the colony will be wiped out. Some of the defenders deploy their most potent weapon. They squirt formic acid. The stinging liquid halts the invaders in their tracks. And now the Home Guard can go on the offensive. Home and territory are secure once again. A colony may lose many workers in defence of its home, but their sacrifice helps safeguard the next generation.
It's now midsummer, and the sun is shining at full strength. The increasing warmth is the cue for an Atlantic lobster to start on a long journey. She spent the winter 250 meters down, far beyond the reach of the storms. But it was cold down there, and now she needs to find warmer water, so she's marching towards the shallows. They, however, are 150 kilometers away. After a month of walking, she finally arrives at her favoured sandbank. But she's not the first here. Dozens of other lobsters have already dug themselves homes in the sand, and they don't intend to surrender them to newcomers. Size counts for everything in these battles. The new arrival is in urgent need of a pit, and since she weighs a hefty 7 kilos, she stands a good chance of getting one. She's won. These battles continue for the next 2 months, and they're crucial, for the females must have both shelter and warm water if they're to raise their young. For the last 7 months, each of these females has been carrying around about 20,000 fertilized eggs, but their task is approaching its end. The warmth of the shallows is speeding the eggs' development. 2 more months, and the eggs are ready to hatch. At first, they're not very good at swimming. But within a few minutes, the babies are able to set off in a purposeful way.
This is one of them. From the purposeful way in which he's walking, it's clear that the search for prey has started. The other members of the team are not far away. They've been steadily following the monkeys for about 20 minutes, looking for an opportunity. The technique they'll almost certainly use is that one of them will be driving the colobus ahead of him then there will be others that go up on either side who are the blockers, who won't make any attempt to catch the monkeys. And then there are chasers who go and grab at the monkey if they can. And finally, there's one male who will go up ahead and ambush it, so bringing the whole trap closed. The monkeys are now getting alarmed. A driver's going up to prevent the group from settling and to drive them towards an area where they're more easily trapped. That's one of the blockers that's now quietly come ahead of the colobus. He's halfway up the tree now. He's deliberately making himself conspicuous. Now it looks as though they're all in position. The driver's gone up, the blockers have gone up, and now the one who's going to make the ambush and close the ring, he's gone up too. The colobus will be very lucky if they escape now. They've got one. The hunters are tearing it apart. Everyone, the hunters in the trees and the spectators on the ground, are screaming with excitement. And now the kill is brought down so that the females and others can share it. And there's the reward for that long chase. The divided body of a colobus monkey. These blood-stained faces may well horrify us, but we might also see in them the face of our long-distant hunting ancestors. And if we are appalled by that mob violence and bloodlust, we might also see in that too, perhaps, the origins of the teamwork that have, in the end, brought human beings many of their greatest triumphs.
This is the South African dwarf chameleon, a male in full courtship costume. This, somewhat less colourful, is a female. She is not welcoming his advances. As her mood darkens, so does her skin. She's driven him away. But why? There is a reason. She's pregnant. Her home, the South African Cape, can get quite cold. So instead of laying her eggs on the ground, as most chameleons do, she retains them within her body and warms them by seeking out the sunniest places and sunbathing. Now they're ready to emerge, alive.
Producing babies in the branches might seem to be a risky business, but the membrane enclosing each one will stick to a twig if it hits one. And when at last the babies disentangle themselves, they immediately deploy their formidable chameleon grip. By the time they're properly dried out, the babies are as much at home in the branches as their mother. Out here on the sand flats, there is safe accommodation for some. A family of saddleback clownfish have found an excellent home. The tentacles of this carpet anemone can kill, but the clownfish are immune to the poison. So they can shelter from danger. In return, the fish keep the anemone clean of debris. As with all clownfish, the family is ruled by a big female. Her white face marks her out as the boss. The diminutive male has to prove his worth, so he works tirelessly, removing debris and generally keeping on top of the housework. His greatest challenge is to find a safe place where the boss can lay her eggs. But there's nothing solid here for the female to lay them on. A nearby shell could be the solution. If only he can move it to the protection of the anemone. Too heavy. Besides, it has a mind of its own. Hermit crab. But out here, twice a day, the anemone is swept by tidal currents, and they bring in new opportunities. An old plastic bottle. Perhaps this will do. not heavy enough. A coconut shell. It looks just right, but it's a long way from home. And he can't move it by himself. So the pair now work together. A little adjustment to the anemone's tentacles in order to clear a space for it. And the shell is tucked in. The female lays. A safe nursery at last. He has proved himself worthy to father her young, and he fertilizes them. Now he will meticulously tend the eggs, keeping them clean and healthy until they hatch in 10 days' time. "60 million tons of snow now blanket this herd's territory. Pushing through deep snow is exhausting work, and the bison are now slowly starving. Just keeping warm saps huge amounts of energy. Their thick coats can insulate them down to -30 Celsius. It's now -40. The only thing that will keep them alive is buried beneath a meter of snow. And that's a problem shared with a surprising neighbor. The food the fox seeks is also deep beneath the snow. The survival of both creatures depends on getting through to the ground. For the bison, it will be a matter of brute strength. Massive neck muscles enable them to shovel 5 tons of snow a day. Their lightweight neighbor needs more precision. The bison have reached their goal, a mouthful of withered grass. And where the bison have dug, the fox now spots an opportunity. Every footstep counts. But he mustn't break through. Yet. He listens carefully to pinpoint his target. It's moving. A vole. Small, but 100 times more nutritious than a mouthful of dried grass. To get through the winter on these prairies, sometimes brain beats brawn.